the previous video, we already said that, the growth rate of M2 looks much more moderate than that of monetary base. This is pretty easy to understand if we rely upon that model of money supply, okay, we discussed before. So intuitively, during the crisis period, the Federal Reserve would like to increase the monetary base a lot to, again, keep the liquidity, okay, so that the businesses, especially the small businesses, would still be able to receive the loans and survive, okay. However, during the same crisis period, we know that people tend to hold more cash, right? They hold more currency. So the currency to deposit ratio would be larger. And the banks also hold more reserves. Now, this is because from the bank's own concern, they would like to hold more cash just in case, hold more reserves just in case people would come back and withdraw their money. Okay, so to avoid a bank run, they'd better keep a higher amount of reserves. Also, this is because during the crisis period, banks are more cautious in terms of making loans, okay? So that they probably have more, reserves sitting in their office because they would have a hard time, find the qualified borrowers or investors, okay? And during this year, 2020, we find the same thing, okay? Now, again, you have to be careful about the vertical axis. Here, in 2020, the Fed tried very hard to increase the monetary base. So the percentage change becomes 60%. All right, so the monetary base increased by 60%. During the same period, we find the M2 increased only by 25%. Okay? Again, much more moderate. So that means the money multiplier is actually getting smaller. So with a larger monetary base, the money supply increased, but not as much as the monetary base. Okay. All right, now we can draw the conclusion of this chapter. Again, the first half of this chapter is just the ABC stuff you should already learn from your intro class, okay? But I still give you a chance to refresh your memory. So we talk about the definition of money and three functions, okay? We also talk about the measurement, all right? We said it's depends upon the liquidity of the monetary assets, okay? And then we have a brief discussion about the Federal Reserve System, which is a central bank of the United States, okay? And later we step into the discussion of the control of money supply, okay? So these are more kind of intermediate level stuff, okay? So first of all, we look at the fractional reserve banking system and figure out, how these change the money supply, especially, creates more money down the road, okay? And then we discuss the money multiplier, okay? In the model, we use to figure out the money supply, okay? And we also discuss the monetary policy tools available to Federal Reserve, okay? Oops, I'm sorry. So this is chapter 4, okay? And next chapter 5, we will start looking at the relationship between money supply and inflation, okay? And we're gonna say if there's a positive correlation between the money supply and the inflation, because the common sense would say that the more money the Federal Reserve prints and pumps into the economy, and the more likely our economy would be in high inflation. Okay. So in next chapter, we're gonna discuss a mathematical expression, okay, or equation, and we'll also would look at the relevant empirical evidence.